Okay, I'm not sure what's going on. If you guys can, this is even really recording because my page doesn't show me. My page on my computer is not showing me that I'm there. There we go. All right. Now I can see that I'm on. And see that I'm on. All right. Okay. This is Sonia with Stamping Around the Dining Room Table. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I just wanted to share some more things from Peaceful Nativity. I shared a couple of times on my Facebook page, Stamping Around the Dining Room Table. And the first time, I will admit, I was frustrated. Things just didn't seem to turn out quite the way I was hoping. And I was looking for what I did with them. I put them aside because I thought, just leave them for a while and come back later and look at them again. And you know, some certain projects are it's like you maybe need to do a little more to bring it up to what you were kind of hoping for. Sometimes you just need to stop. You know, you don't want to overdo it either. Well, I never got back to them because I went on to other projects, and I was going to show them today because I thought just to kind of show where I came from, and maybe as an encouragement to some newer stampers that sometimes things do happen. They don't always go the way that we hope, and maybe it'd be an encouragement to them, but unfortunately I can't show that today. So what I did think, I just quickly wanted to show you the storyboard that I made up. The Peaceful Nativity bundle. Oh, that's a different set. Okay. And it has all these stamps in it. The Holy Family, the front of a stable, a lamb, a donkey, and then it has these sentiments. Rejoice, for unto us a child is born. May his light shine in your heart throughout the year. There's also two stars. One's a little bigger, one's a little smaller. Then the dies that you can also buy, if you buy the whole thing in a bundle, it saves you 10% over the cost of buying them individually. But it has it does have a die that cuts out the Holy Family. There you can see it, and there's like stamped and cut out the donkey and the lamb, same thing there. The stars, they have some extra stars too, an extra star, this one. And then here's the front of the stable. They also give you this that can be used like as the back of the stable. And I had done that on my previous cards, and I can't find them right now. I didn't happen to do that today. All right, so I had seen some people doing things like with making like a little holder for a tea light holder. This is my version of it. And just use vellum, and I stamped on this, and then I colored on the back. I just kind of wanted to, this was my trying to show how I when you color on the back, it's much more muted when you do bring it add it to your picture. I have one here. Here we go. So this is the back, and I colored it in, and then when you turn it over, see, it's more muted, but you can really see the features better. One of the things I was frustrated with when I first did the first set of cards I did was when I tried to color them in, I was using our Stampin' Blends, which are great for a lot of things, but when it's this tiny, even the small nub, this is really too big. Okay, so but then I realized on vellum, really you stamp on the front and let it dry, and it does take longer to dry just because of just the nature of vellum. And then you color it on the back, because if you color it on the front, it reactivates this the ink that's already on there, and it just becomes like a muddy mess. So I did it on the back, and it does, I mean, it's okay. It's better than what the pictures I had done originally had looked like, but when you turn it over, not only is it more muted, but it really helps to bring out the, you know, like all the features. Okay, 'cause you can really see a difference in these two. All right, so this what I did, and I played around with this, tried a few different things. Here's a couple. I just tried some different things here, a couple of different ways to do this. This is my first one, and then I realized when I got finished, I didn't like this white up here because it should look more like the outdoors. Because they are inside, and the lighter colors inside. Also, I realized that's a little bit too big. And I didn't get around to what I'm going to do is trim these by hand out from along there. But then I decided, well, if I fold it over the top, then you still got that dark blue that's back there. It's the night of navy, and it looks more like the sky, and you can put stars up there or whatever you might like. Now, in addition to making like little tea light holders, and these could be, if you have some people that love nativities, that could be a great gift for them. You could make, you know, just one for somebody. You could make more than one. The other thing I realized, but doing it the same way, except instead of putting a tea light in, before you put it together, in this area, put a little hole. I used, this is retired, but I used a 1/2-inch circle punch for that. And I did check, and I don't have a string of lights in here, but this is a little different, but it is similar to how, just to see that will fit up in, and it is even a little bigger than I needed for my little lights to go in. But you can put that up in, you know, and here's the, you can hang it on the tree, and the light can go up inside, and that can give a glow also from that. On this one, let's see, the first one I did, these right here, they're just one, just flat. The stable's flat, but it still looks a little bit raised up, like it's closer to us because they're stamped on the vellum, and that's placed over the vellum. But I wanted to see what it would look like if I added another layer of the stable. So I need to fix that. I just put a little, some of this our foam strips, adhesive foam strips in, so that would pop that up a little bit more. I haven't decorated these yet. I'm trying to decide exactly what I want to do with those. Alright, so I'll kind of show you here. Those I used glue on. You want to use something that is a strong adhesive. So glue, like this multi-purpose glue from Tombow. The other thing you could use, we have Stampin' Seal Plus. It's like a runner tape. The only thing is, right here, this was pretty narrow, so you would need to have, if you did put it on, because the tape is a little wider, you would need it to have a non-stick surface underneath so that it doesn't get all over everything. I decided to try some Terran tape on this one. Alright, so what I did was I took, and I just realized I kind of adjusted this, so let me just make sure here. Oh no, it's still the same size. Okay, so I cut this, maybe it's a little narrower. Okay, 3 by 4 3/4, and then I scored it using my scoreboard. You can use, the trimmer has a scoring tool with it. At 1/4, I scored it this way, like the portrait side way. At 1/4 inch, 1 3/4, and then 3/4, and then I had to go over to 3 3/4, and then again at 4. And then I realized, I thought maybe it would be better if I did a score here. Maybe that would help it sit a little better than those others were sitting. So if you do that, that would be then 1/4, 1 3/4, 2 3/4, 3 3/4, and 4. All right, so, and this might be, I'm trying to see, is that the right size? I think so. So you take off that protective backing. You line it up just like that. And then on this, so let's see here if I can get this off. Sometimes you need a tool, but that, I'm just gonna try and, the biggest thing with this is that I want to make sure that Joseph's crook there, the shepherd's crook, is not covered up. So I try to line it up along the side, put just a little ways above that shepherd's crook. It seemed like every time I tried to measure correctly so that it wouldn't be such a big deal, it'd be just right where I needed it. I never could get it quite right. It was too, I just never could quite get it to line up there. That's better, to get it where I wanted it. So I was very frustrated about that. All right, so let's see. So if you do it the way I did the first, it would be like this. And it just kind of, some of it's because of the nature, I think, of the vellum. It's, you know, not as sturdy as this. The other thing I done when I did it in the center there, that one area I said, if you did it this way, I thought maybe by having this out a little bit, maybe this would sit up a little better. I don't know that that's the case. Let's see, there it is. There it is, that way. And it's kind of hard to see because like you're looking straight down. So there it is that way, but let's see. I think just doing it the way I did the other might be a little better, which is where this is not bent, nothing there to bend it, but just have it stand straight up. Part of, I think, why it does go out is because of the candle in here, this little, but if you make it much bigger, like as it is now, you can slide it in and out easily, but it's close enough that it kind of holds it in place. If I make it much bigger, you're going to put it in and it'll be very easy for it to slide out the other side. So I think I'm not going to do that. And then, oh, I should have done this probably before I put it together. I wasn't thinking. I'm so focused on seeing how that came together. All right. And so here, when you put this on, as I said, I would have put it on before when it was still flat, but basically I use the glue, because it gives you a little bit of wiggle room so that to help you get it exactly where you want it. Take that out, and I'm going to want to make sure that the blue is underneath where the top of the stable there comes over them. Try and see here, there. I guess that's the best I'm going to get. Okay. There. So there's that. And the light behind it, so that it looks like, you know, there's a lantern behind them, kind of, and there it is. Okay, I may need to put a little more glue down here at the bottom. Now, the other thing I could do, I'm not going to do it with this, because I'm going to do it with the next thing I'm working on. But if you wanted to give this a little more dimension, you could do it like this. And we have these foam adhesive strips. And really, they just come off like that. You put it right across there. They break off. Wait, do I have that correct? Wait a minute. Oh, there. I got the sticky side up instead of down. There. And then down. I don't know if I pulled it out of the camera view. I'm sorry if I did. And I'm going to put this one right up here. And that one needs to be about that long. So I'm going to leave, they have a piece, like, There's some paper on there right now, just helping to let me see if I don't have this on here very well. Let me just see, can I get that over, because it looks like there. This is a protective piece, and it'll just, you just have to get a hold of the end of it. See if I can get it there. See, and it, oop. That was the end of that one. Just a very little piece came off. If I can get it here, see, it'll come right off. I don't want to take it off till I'm going to put it down on something, though. But you would just line it right up with the one below it, and just put it right down. See, and then there you go. Okay, and then you get this look. Oh, this is the one I put on the tree. And the other thing I didn't talk about was I have a handheld punch that's like a 1/16 of an inch, and I just did it right through there. I left the front one, and then I just put a gold cord through. You can have any color ribbon or cord that you want, and then that can be hung on your tree, and you hang it in a spot where there's a light nearby that you can stick in the bottom here and up behind them for the light source there. All right, so that's how you would stick that up, and give it some dimension. Then I one of the other cards I had made earlier in my second time working with this is my third time, was this, and I wanted to do like a kind of like a simplified shadow box. So what I did was I took a navy blue base, and then I took another piece of navy blue and I cut the center out. Now I happen to have our Stampin' and emboss and cut plate machine that you can use when you are trying to die cut something or emboss something with an embossing folder. Okay, so if you don't have that, or it doesn't have to necessarily be that specific machine, if you would like one, we do have them, and if you go to my website, you can even take a look at them and decide if that is something you would like. But any machine that does standard dies will do this. Okay, so I took our I chose to use our rectangle stitched framelit dies, and I did the third one in. So I started the biggest one to this one, and I just kind of tried to place it in the center as best I could, ran it through the machine and cut out the center. What's nice about these is it might be hard to see on the camera, but there's little all around, it's little stitch, it looks like stitch marks, and what was cut out was this, and it also puts little stitch marks around there, so I can use this for something else. All right, so then I wanted it to spice it up a little bit. These I colored using our colored pencil, our watercolor pencil. I'm going to show you some stuff for that in just a moment. And then this, we have in our embellishments these gold, or not gold, they're copper or gold, copper or bronze. I think they're called copper. They're just called Star Designer Elements, but the color's kind of like copper. So and then I wanted something else, so I thought, well, let me just put some little coppery stars in the sky to go with it. And all I did was I took the Versamark makes a pen, and the tip on this one's not in the greatest shape, but I just took it and made dots, and then I used the heat embossing, the embossing powder that I have. And it is from Stampin' Up. It's copper. It's retired, but I still have it, and I thought I'm going to use it to do this. And I just put little dots, put the embossing powder on, then I heated it up using the embossing gun, or the heat tool, and it makes it real sparkly like that. Okay, and there may be a few other things I'll add. I don't know, because overall, really, it's supposed to be like a very humble beginning, and so sometimes we get carried away with all of our bling that wasn't there at the original time this happened, out beyond the angels and the real stars. So if you don't have a cutting machine, or you have them but don't have the dies, you can also you cut this out using, if you have some type of cutting tool like a trimmer. for our trend, because where's the other one I had? It's right here. This one, if you did this, it was about 3/4 of an inch, or all the way around is what the border was. So you could put it, any of these at the 3/4 inch mark. Now this has some markings on both sides. When it's small like that, 3/4, there's the 3/4 inch. You would put it over there. Well, maybe it's not 3/4, maybe it was more like a half, sorry. And then you would put, so then you want the same all the way around. So you'd start the 1/2 inch mark on here, and then you would cut down to just 1/2 an inch up from the bottom. Then you would turn it and line it up again, the same thing, 1/2 an inch from either end, and just do that all the way around, and you're going to get a frame like this when you're finished. Okay, now because I wanted to do something else, I'm going to show you a little thing here that I did. It's kind of, but I still wanted to use the frame kind of like I did here. So to pop that up and give it a little more dimension, more like a shadow box, I used our strips again. I put them all around this. I did, I was a little careful. I didn't put this all the way over because where these come down, I didn't want, in case it was below the blue, I didn't want those, because those are popped up, and I didn't want this popped up on top of that. It would have, because the bottom would have stuck out differently. So, all right, before I do that, yes. And then before I show you this other kind of, I think it's kind of fun. Did I put those? Oh no, right here. I thought I had one already colored. Didn't I show that to you? Somewhere I had a colored one that was all colored. Well, here. So what I did on this, I'm not going to color the whole thing, but I wanted to show you using watercolor markers. We have watercolor markers, and then we have these blender pens. Now, you can use a blender pen, or you could even use like a brush with some water. We have some specific brushes that hold the water in the barrel, and so that you don't have to, keep dipping in. But either one will work. Today I'm going to show you the blending pens. So first you put your color on, and this was, this is the real red in the pen, in our colored pencil. So you color in all of his, you're making his robe red, you're going to color it all in. Hopefully, a lot of times later I see, oh, I missed a spot. And then you're going to take the your blender pens, and there's 2 points on them, and there's 3 comes in a package, so you have 6 points. And then there's a liquid in there, and you just run it over, and what it does is it smooths it out. It can make it look more like a watercolor, and rather than just like, it kind of erases the lines that you sometimes can get from watercolor from colored pencils. Okay. So later I will finish doing all that, and then all you need to do, where's my scrap paper? When you're finished, just keep wiping until it runs clear. So you can really use the same for different colors. I have a lot of times when I get them, I will use, like, one end will be any of my red type colors, another, like over here, might be blue or green, or you have one for brown, stuff like that. But you don't necessarily have to. You can actually use the same one for multiple colors as long as you clean it out in between. All right, so I'm gonna do something similar to this, but the background's going to be different. I saw somebody, one of our demonstrators, and I don't remember her name, at our on stage. I should have gotten her name. She showed us an easy way to make a shaker card. So a lot of times, you have there's a little circle or some other shape that's cut out, and then you've got a plastic cover that goes over it, and you carefully put all of your sequins or whatever right in the spot that you need them, and then you put the top over it. Well, this way, what she did with this is that she took a piece of paper. Now this is the regular size of most of the cards, greeting cards we send is 5.5 by 4.25. So what I did was I made this just a little bit smaller, 5.25 by 4. Now, if I wanted, I could even have put the Holy Family right on this paper, or if there's something else I wanted to be more background, I could put it right on there. But I didn't want to today. I just wanted this to look like stars behind them, stars in the sky behind them. Now, and then I used, and I didn't realize until I wasn't paying enough attention, this is our Whale of a Time sequence from our annual catalog. I chose it just because it's got a lot of blues in it, and you know, it's kind of sparkly. The only thing is that I realized afterwards that we have some pink ones that are shaped like shells, and some of the pink ones got in, so I just wanted to pay a little more attention because we don't really have shells in the sky, and you know, so not that it's the end of the world that they're in there. Just say it's a new constellation or something, right? So let me just see. I just wanted to put a few in here. And you can put as much or as little in as you want. If you have some, what can be nice is if you have some glitter, you can add glitter as well. And I like when there's a time when I can, whoop, drop my finger, can put in both sequins and glitter. I'm going to do just a few more here. Okay, there. And then, now that paper's inside. This is a clear envelope that you can get in our annual catalog. It would have been a little easier putting these in if I didn't want to worry about the pink. But as I said, I didn't want them in if I could prevent that. Down there. And let's see, I'm just going to do these few right here too. Maybe not. Where's my, right here. So I just want to have a fair amount of, you know, stuff moving around, a fair amount of glitter. That's the other thing that have glitz, I guess, is really what I was trying to say, not glitter. The other thing, of course, that because it's a bigger area, you might want to put a few more sequins and stuff in than you would if it was just one of those little things, little designs like we were talking about before. I moved those out of the way. Now this has this on it. It's like how you close it up. You just pull that off, and then this would fold over like that for your card. But in this case, I want to pull it all the way to the edge and pull it up. The other thing is I want to fold this over, and what can help with that, even right along here, is to use your bone folder just to help kind of flatten it down a little bit. And then you're going to take some tear and tape. It's like tape it's got the back side of this is sticky, okay? When you pull it off the roll, it's sticky. You just want it along the edge there. Did I do there to get it over a little bit? It might have, no. And then it has like this other paper on top that when you're ready to stick it down, you remove it. Now, it's called tear and tape because you can just tear it. All right, so I'm going to do the top and the bottom. Hopefully you can see it here. Tear it there, and then I'm going to go from this over to here. And this is a pretty strong tape, so even though it's got this plastic cover on it, it should hold up. Okay, and then I just usually give it a good burnish all the way around, because sometimes if you don't, this tape wants to come up with the release paper rather than staying down where you want it. Oh, here it is. Use my take your pick tool and try and get this there. So, and if it doesn't seem to want to lay down, sometimes you just have to you know, it wants to come up with the tape. Sometimes even you just use this other end to like burnish it down. That sometimes can help if it seems to not want to stay and wants to come up when you're taking the release paper off here. Okay. Now, oh my goodness, I didn't. Yeah, I'm trying to be so organized. I thought I had my, actually it's not gonna, thought I had my paper on my card base all set. And it's, I don't. So I'm going to quickly take care of that. Here in the United States, our, mentioned already that 5.5 by 4 1/4 is our size. I'm going to, with an 8.5 piece of cardstock, you get 2 out. So I like to score it in the middle first at 4 1/4 and then cut it at 5.5 because this is, it's an 8.5 by 5.5 or by 11 sheet. Okay, now I'm going to fold this, and even though the score line can help, you just got to try your best to line up those corners and edges before you put it down. All right, now to get back on track, I'm just going to, now this is just a little bit smaller than the front of this card. I did it on purpose, okay, so you can put it in. There's a shaker part, okay. And then I wanted to put the frame on it, and my Holy Family is going to go back here. I will finish coloring that later. I just didn't want to take the time to do it now. So what I like to do is, I'm going to have to trim this down a little bit, I think. Got sequins all over the place now, but hey, that's kind of fun, isn't it? All right, so what I'm going to do is put some glue on the back of this stable. Oops, got it on. Good thing I have that non-stick barrier there. I'm making kind of a mess because I'm trying to hurry a little bit. Now, I want this up here so that you can't see any of this Fairy Vanilla behind it. That looks pretty good, okay? And the only thing is, I maybe should have had it, I think actually, I may need to trim it down because I think I need this down a little more because I didn't want it that far up above them. See, sometimes, even with the best laid plans, things don't go quite the way we think they're going to. So I'm just going to take a second to cut off about 1/4 of an inch here. I think that I'll be happier with that. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry about that. I don't know where that came from. Okay, I'm going to put a little more glue on here since I pulled it off, and not sure how sticky this is. Could have dried up because it dries fairly quickly. I mean, it gives you time to move stuff around a little bit, but it does dry fairly quickly. So let me try this again. There. All right. There. Now, there is this right here, but I'm not going to worry too much about that until, because I want to see when this comes on. I put this on. I'm not going to take the glue or the paper off it yet, but put this on. Excuse me. And then I'm going to set this down. So I put that like that. Then that's about right. So, okay. And I could pop this up on here if I want. I could use the tear and tape. I could use the our Stampin' Seal Plus, but I'm just going to use the Tombow on this. Okay, and put them down. I got to be careful, my hands are a little sticky from all this tape, all this glue. Then I'm going to take this off. Wait a minute here. Fingers are not cooperating because of all that glue. There. Maybe I'll just use this since my fingers are so sticky. Come on. And this one, is that the one? One of them felt like it was over a little too far. You can kind of just see it on the edge, so I'm going to just trim that off. Okay. So, here we go. See if I can get the rest of this off. I could have taken some of it off before, but I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to stick someplace I didn't want it to stick. Oh, come on. Because I got the glue on my fingers from, it's making it a little more difficult to get this off than it should be because my fingers want to stick in the wrong spot. Alright, that's that over there. Now, I hope I'm keeping this pretty much in the camera view. Okay, let me just see here. So there's that. So I could leave it just this way, or I could add another layer of this like I did on there. And I do see it would be this one. And just put that basically right there. Yeah, I like that better. I just like the dimension it gives. Like it adds a little more shadow. Actually, you know what? I just took that off, but I'm not going to put it on because I forgot. I have to finish coloring this. I didn't want to take all the, I wanted you to see some of the coloring, and I didn't want to take up all the time with that because that's pretty boring watching me just sit there and color. Okay. But I did find that when I'm coloring on the front, using the colored pencils gives me a better result than trying to use our markers, because for me, it's just my clumsy hands, but this end is, you know, it's a good size, and then when you get in those tiny spots, it it's harder to get the finer things in there, whereas the pencils, you can get in there a lot better. Okay. So that's where I'm going to stop today. If you want to see some of the other, like what I did, especially the first time when I was frustrated, and or even when I put together these on my Facebook page, that is Stamping Around the Dining Room Table, and you can go and look at my videos there, and you can see more with the Peaceful Nativity. Okay, so my plan had been to be able to come on Wednesday, be here on Wednesdays, and the last 2 weeks it just hasn't worked out for me, but I'm really going to work hard to this one, oh, that was the one that wasn't colored, so I guess I'll do this. But this one I just wanted to see I did it this way. Okay. And but anyway, there they all are. It's kind of hard to see them, but because you're up above, but I wanted to put it that way, and hopefully you guys can see that. Now, if you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, you're interested in having a demonstrator, I'd be more than happy to be your demonstrator. You can just let me know, like leave me a message. If you go to my Stamp Around the Dining Room Table on Facebook, and you want to leave a private message there with your address, so I would be happy to send you out a catalog. But I hope that you will give me a thumbs up today and that you will subscribe so that you can keep, kind of see other things that I do as time goes on. I would appreciate you following me if that's something that you would be agreeable to do. Okay, so my plan is to be back next Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. I'm going to do my best to have that there for you. I hope you all have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. In the meantime, happy crafting. Bye-bye.